The key didn't turn. A dry click, then silence. She tried again. Still locked. Same door, same scratches near the handle. Only now it was just wood and metal, and she was on the wrong side. She checked the brass, same scratch near the top, and tried harder. It scraped, caught, slipped. Her son stood behind her with the backpack that never zipped right. "Mom." She didn't answer. Tried again. Nothing. New lock. Same door she'd opened 100 times. Peeling paint, the dent from a dropped bag. Only now it was just wood and metal, and she was on the wrong side. The grocery bag slid off her arm. Cans rattled across the concrete. One burst, tomato sauce near her shoes. She didn't move. Upstairs, muffled laughter, a jingle. Her phone buzzed. Missed call from work. Not him. She called anyway. The landlord's number went straight to voicemail. She called again. Same thing. A neighbor opened their curtain halfway, looked out, then disappeared. The sound of the latch made her chest tighten. She stood there until the light on the porch timer flicked on. Her son sat on the steps. "Can we go inside?" She took a breath that went nowhere. Not yet. Old rain, metal. She tried the knob quietly, like the door might change its mind. It didn't. She set her forehead to the frame and let out a breath that almost sounded like a laugh. She looked at the car parked under the streetlight, its back seat full of takeout wrappers and a blanket. That would have to do. She picked up what she could: the bag, the spilled can, the keys that suddenly meant nothing, and walked her son to the car. He was quiet. So was she. The lock on the door stayed still. Morning. Basement. Her stuff was there. Boxes, bags, a pile of clothes that smelled like dust and detergent. The little plastic dinosaur her son used to carry was lying on top, tail snapped off. She stood there, hands in her jacket pockets, watching her life stacked under a flickering light bulb. The landlord clattered down with a paper cup. "Can't leave that here too long," he said, like it was trash day. She didn't move. He kept going, tapping the side of the cup. "Contract violation. You were late twice. I told you this might happen." "You told me to pay cash," she said quietly. He shrugged. "Cash or card, doesn't matter now. Door's changed, lease is void. You can call whoever you want." Her son shifted behind her, whispering, "Mom, can we go?" She nodded just once. No words left to waste on him. She grabbed a grocery bag that wasn't hers. Someone had stuffed her things in it. Halfway up, the handles tore. Papers slid out. Pay stubs, school letters, the safety copy of the lease. He didn't help. He stared at his phone. The light buzzed above them. Dust floated in the beam, slow, deliberate, like it was waiting for her to say something. But she didn't. A paper fluttered off the pile, sliding toward the drain. She caught it just before it fell. The lease, the only thing with her name still printed right. She folded it once, then again, and slid it into her jacket. When they reached the car, the boy asked, "Are we in trouble?" "No," she said. Her voice was flat. "We're fine." She drove without music through gray drizzle. By the grocery store lot, the kid was asleep. Engine on for heat. She took the lease from the glove box and read it line by line, the one thing that still felt like it belonged to her. The paper crackled when she turned the page. The ink was fading, but the sentence was clear. The landlord couldn't change locks or remove property without a court order. She read it twice, then a third time, tracing the line with her thumb until the paper softened under her touch. Her son was still asleep in the back seat, one arm curled around his backpack. Outside, the parking lot lights hummed, cold and steady. She took the old blue pen from her work apron and circled the claws. The tip cracked, ink bled, like sealing something. For the first time since yesterday, her heartbeat slowed. She opened her phone, searched free legal help housing, and scrolled past ads and numbers that didn't work. Then she found one, a community legal center 6 miles away. The website said, "Walk-ins welcome." She checked the time. 7:42 a.m. She started the car. Inside the office, it smelled like coffee and paper. A young woman behind a desk looked up, surprised but not unkind. "You have an appointment?" "No." She held up the folded lease. "But I think I have a case." They sat in a small room with walls covered in posters about tenants' rights. The volunteer lawyer, a tired man with kind eyes, unfolded the papers slowly, like they might break. "You kept every receipt?" She nodded. He smiled, the quiet kind. "Then he's in trouble." She didn't smile back. She just looked at the paper again. The words didn't seem small anymore. They looked solid. He explained what would happen: letters, hearings, proof of payment. It sounded complicated, but not impossible. She wrote everything down in a spiral notebook from her son's backpack, the same one that used to hold math homework. When she walked out, the air felt lighter, almost clean. The sky had that sharp blue it gets after rain. She looked at the lease again, folded it carefully, and slid it into a plastic sleeve. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. "Don't make this worse for yourself." She looked once, flipped it face down. The lease sat heavier than it looked. The courtroom smelled like coffee and nerves. Back row. Same folder. Lease, receipts, photos of the door. Across the aisle, the landlord in a too-sharp suit laughed with his lawyer. Every sound was too loud. Papers, chairs, the clerk's cough that wouldn't quit. When her name was called, she stood. Her legs felt steady in a way they hadn't before. The judge, a woman with gray hair pulled tight, asked her to explain what happened. She didn't try to sound brave. She just told the truth. One sentence after another. No anger, no tears. The landlord interrupted twice, waving his hands, saying she was a problem tenant. The judge told him to sit down. He did, but not quietly. His chair scraped across the floor, metal on tile. The lawyer from the center stood beside her, calm and patient. He slid the lease forward, pointing at the circled line. "Section 8, subsection B," he said. "No locks can be changed. No possessions removed without due process." The room went quiet. The judge leaned forward, adjusting her glasses. "Did you change the locks yourself, sir?" The landlord's mouth opened, then closed. "It was a misunderstanding." "It wasn't," she said softly. Her voice filled the room in a way that made everyone stop moving for a second. Not loud, just certain. The judge nodded once. "We'll review damages." When the gavel hit, the landlord looked smaller, still loud, still red-faced, but smaller. His lawyer gathered papers, muttering about appeals. Outside, the air was bright and flat. She stood on the steps, folder pressed against her chest. The volunteer lawyer shook her hand. "We'll call you when the financial audit's done," he said. "Looks like there's more here than an eviction." She nodded, but her eyes stayed on the courthouse doors. Her reflection in the glass looked unfamiliar. Not tired anymore, not scared, just still. When she reached her car, the same text appeared again. "You don't know what you're doing." She looked at it, then deleted it. This time, the sound of the click felt final. A month later, a check arrived with her name spelled right. Plain envelope. No letter, just numbers and stamps that make things real. She set it on the counter of the new apartment and watched her coffee go cold. Smaller place. Quieter. The heater rattled, but it worked. Her son was in the next room, building something out of cardboard boxes. Every now and then he asked for tape or scissors or just said, "Look." She liked that, the normalness of it. She'd found the place through one of the lawyers. Small landlord, month-to-month lease, decent neighborhood. No carpets, no noise upstairs. The first night, she locked the door twice just to make sure. The key turned smooth, no resistance. On the table, next to the check, lay the old one, the brass key that didn't fit anymore. She kept it for no reason she could explain. Maybe it wasn't about remembering. Maybe it was proof she'd survived it. The landlord, the old one, had gone quiet. The audit showed he'd pocketed rent from several tenants, skipped taxes for years. They said he'd lose the house. She didn't follow the case. She didn't need to. Her part was done. That night, she put the old key in a small plastic box, closed the lid. A soft click, like a seatbelt. Her son came out of his room holding a cardboard fort. "Can we paint it tomorrow?" "Yeah," she said. "We can paint it." He smiled and went back. She sat at the table a while longer, listening to the radiator hiss. Outside, a siren passed and faded. The city went back to its usual quiet. She looked around. Plain walls, secondhand furniture, everything hers. Before bed, she checked the door again. The key turned smooth. Locked. Secure. She stood a moment, hand on the knob, breathing steady. Outside, rain started, soft, even, like the world finally exhaling. She smiled, small, real. The kind that says, "This time, it's over."